Hello, viewers. Now I am going to talk to you a concise form of Swami Vilakshananda Paramatmaji's life history. Om Namo Bhagavate Vilakshananandaya. He was born in 1894 and attained Samadhi at 1945. He had lived hardly for 51 years and he had done so much to this community. Born in a hereditary, very rich family with a profound scholarliness, intense, meritorious potentials in Tamil language and literature. Paramatmaji was spending most of his 51 years of life as a saint, yogi, and realist soul. Has travelled the entire length and breadth of Aganta Bharat from small village to prominent cities by various discourses, preachings, mantra diksha helped the masses to attain salvation with no discrimination. By virtue, he is an effective orator, wonderful singer, and a poet. In a nutshell, Swamiji is an extraordinary personality. Swami Vilakshanananda, the eternal light, walked in this earth in the tail end of the 19th century and first half of the 20th century, was a spiritual genius and social reformer. His glorious life itself imparts great lessons, illuminating and enlightening all of us. He also did patriotic services. I hereby highlight some of the salient features in his life as I gathered from the texts available and with my personal experience. In my experience, I was being an ardent devotee ever since I was 11 years when I met him. He has taken care of his devotees' physical and mental problems. Being a unique saint, he had control over all the five elements of nature. Swamiji has done penance mostly in hilly regions and caves. Swamiji has shown that the self lustrous illumination, the God, could be reached by anybody, irrespective of caste, community, sex, and other things, the so called monetary status. He had preached extensively the Moola Mantra of Lord Sri Venkateshwara, his Upanishad consisting of the Adadvasirisham and Kavachastotram. He was totally a traveling and preaching monk, not possessing anything except these assets. He was born down south in Tamil Nadu in a village called Hanumantampatti, Theni district, Madurai, in the year 1894 after a prolonged penance by his parents Srimati Sundaraballi and Sriman Rangaswamy Iyengar for 3 years in the seven hills of Lord Srinivasa as directed by him, and it's interesting to bring to the notice of the readers the truth about his blessed mother to whom he was born, namely Srimati Sundaraballi, who had the vision of Mahavishnu and felt the god assuming the form of a light entering her womb before conception. He was named after the Lord as Srinivasan in his Purvashram. The newborn child was somewhat odd in its behavior and slowly became like others as he grew. He was not interested in the surroundings, but mainly involved in playing with the deity Lord Venkateshwara. He used to draw the picture of the Lord in the sand and made other children also to get involved. When he was 4 years, an Avaduta Swamiji, incarnation of Lord Subramanya, came to the child and took him to a wayside Vinayaka temple, gave him some milk, and blessed him to sit in a trance, promising to meet him again at 9 years. The child used to roam around Surabhi hills with its own friends and roam along the waterfalls, befriending the Siddhas, living in the caves in and around the place. After he grew up into a lad, he went to northern India and stayed with quite a few yogis for some time. He was duly married according to the wish of his parents to his own cousin sister, Srimati Ranganayaki, and had a daughter, Alamelu, followed by a granddaughter, Vedavalli, who is being referred to with a particular context. Soon after his marriage, on a rainy day, at the dead of the night, he heard an unseen voice calling him thrice to leave the house in search of truth. He discovered his guru by name Nityananda Avaduta Paramahamsa Yogeshwara at the Paramayogashramam on the banks of Ganges, about 12 miles from Sangam, and became his ardent disciple. After this, he came down to southern parts of India and was mostly associated with the Lord of Seven Hills. He frequented the caves in and around Seven Hills, Sri Sailam, Badrinath, and etc., doing penance intermittently. He had the vision of Lord Venkateshwara during one of these spiritual practices, and his involvement and this involvement of the Swamiji with the Lord is reflected in all his writings. But he had written a lot of devotional songs relating to all the other deities from Lord Ganesha onwards. Had been visiting individually almost many places in Tamil Nadu, conveying spiritual ideas to the people with the returns he got with his penance, and helped a lot of poor people, diseased, mentally deranged, etc., to come out of their sufferings in spite of not being interested. He had done a very many miracles, and people had been cured by his own efforts. According to the request of the people in the very many places where he stayed, he used to preach Jnanavasishtam, Kaivalya Navanitam, Bhagavad Gita, etc., apart from many examples quoted from our epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata. Swamiji was a splendid orator and writer. The audience will be in spell during his discourses. He was a wonderful singer with a beautiful bass voice. He used to sing with a harmonium Shruti. He had written books, devotional songs, and discourses in the form of booklets to the tune of 720 publications. There were anecdotes where people, especially his granddaughter, had quoted an occasion in which Swamiji was giving speeches simultaneously in three places. I know a family where one Srimati Rukmini Ammal had experienced Swamiji as the incarnation of Lord Srinivasa in her vision. Swamiji's own uncle, Madhurakavi Srinivasa Iyengar, had written a devotional song with the same interpretation. I have seen people coming to him presenting their sufferings, physical and mental. Swamiji used to tell them to write and request presenting their problem. Next day, he would give them in writing about the remedy as Lord Venkateshwara's command, as Venkateshwara Uttaravu. There were many times where he had taken his devotees to in large numbers by walk to the caves in and around Kumaradhara waterfalls, staying there for a day or two. He used to give his advices and preachings at that place. The, the name of all the families individually had been inscribed on the stone cult as directed by him. He had given a lot of mantra diksha to many disciples, including me. I was very fortunate to have been blessed by him. Literally, he calling me just like that in one of those days, accidentally at my residence in 1942 July from a balcony above our house sit out when I was hardly 11 years. In Chennai, at a place called Adambakam, close to Gindi, apart from daily puja followed by yoga teachings in the puja hall, and every second Sunday in the evening, 1.5 hours between 4 and 6 pm, pujas were being conducted till COVID epidemic. So also Swamiji's Jayanti is celebrated here within 10 days after the stipulated date, and this place is well known as Yoga Prayaga for the locals and also in the references concerned with that. This great saint, who had no possession except his own divine assets, attained Samadhi on a Friday, the 16th of November 1945. For this great philosopher, preacher, and spiritual teacher who has spent these 51 years of his existence in the world, he is in Jiva Samadhi at a place called Mail Mayal, a small village near Katpadi. The Samadhi is being visited by lot of devotees from different places. People who have spiritual experience can feel the vibrations when they meditate there. People who look for material returns also get benefited. The ardent devotees of Swamiji who did not want to be published built the Samadhi, but it is unfair not to mention the great devotees like Sriman Bhashyam, Shivaramaya, Srimati Jayammal, and so many other large hearted followers. So, to sum up, devotees frequenting the Samadhi get Swamiji's blessings and get rid of their sufferings. Hence, it is worth giving a call to the entire humanity to visit the Samadhi and attain salvation with Swamiji's blessings. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.